Shalom.
Kahaloyim la Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash, Bakta Yahweh, Bakta Yahushai, Bakta Racha Kodash, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash.
Shalom and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elder bishops and the elders in the Akim and the Akwat of the hopeful elect. Shalom. Just want to go into a quick video entitled, He Has Brought Shame to His House. And it's going to Esau Edom, so-called white man. He's brought shame to his name and his nation, the house of Edom, the Edomites, the so-called white race, through all of the crimes and atrocities that he's committed against the Most High and blasphemies against the Most High, Yahushua and the Holy Spirit, and throughout and across all mankind, chiefly the apple of the Most High's eye, the Israelites. So we'll start here at Genesis 36 and 1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. So we know the father of the Edomites is Esau, and the children of Esau are the Edomites, which are the so-called white race, and that's the house of Edom. So Esau has brought shame to the house of the Edomites. From Esau himself, when he sold his birthright, he brought immediate shame to his whole house when he sold his birthright for just one meal, right? Only one meal, and you have to eat, once or twice a day. And some people eat 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day. So starting here, and then we'll go, let's see. Yes, the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 41 and verse 5. The children of sinners are abominable children. So they like to tell us that slavery was in the past, to forgive and forget, and they're not like that anymore. But they're the children of those people, and they are abominable children. And also, they're still doing those things, but they lie and deceive as if they're not doing any wickedness against us when they still do. It's now systematic and economic and medically, financially, at every level, right? And through the injustice system and everything. So continuing on, the children of sinners are abominable children, and they that are conversant in the dwelling of the ungodly. And that reminds me of Psalms chapter 1 and verse 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. So being conversant, meaning your conversation, let your conversation be in heaven. But in this society, it's all about do as thou wilt, and say and do as thou feel in thy own wicked dark mind. The precepts of men, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. So that's what this society is all about. And anyone that are conversant, have conversation, and sit down and you work and do your thing, get your money and everything, but you don't hang out with the Babylonians. Right? So they'll make you an abomination along with them, because you are partaker in their deeds, and you taking on their philosophies and being spoiled by their wine, and being defiled by their wine of spiritual fornication of false philosophies. So the children of sinners are abominable children, and they that are conversant in the dwelling of the ungodly. So verse 6. Salaki. The inheritance of the sinners is Salaki, I'm a little excited. Verse 6 again from the top. The inheritance of sinners is children shall perish, and the posterity shall have a perpetual reproach. So the posterity going into the children, the bloodline of that particular man, and in this case the nation of those people, the nation of Esau, the Edomites. They have a perpetual reproach, because they are perpetually sinners. Everything in the society pushes that vibration of Satan. In verse 7, and this is what they're doing today. In verse 7, the children will complain of an ungodly father, because they shall be reproached for his sake. Speaking about the slavery and all of the crimes before slavery and their history throughout history. So, and then they'll complain and get angry and rage because that's all they have is rage and anger and hate and contention and combativeness and argument and very argumentative, right? And delusional. So they will complain and act like it's just their fathers that did it, but they directly reap the benefits and have inherited the lies and the possessions, which are the Israelites, in their hand today and refuse to let us go. So we'll go to the book of Habakkuk, which is the main foundation for my lesson today. So Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. So we, the watchmen, we watch. We see all of the economic downturn. The retail apocalypse has been going on for about at least the last decade. And then, the wars and rumors of wars. And Russia, Gog and Magog being, Russia being brought back to the Soviet Union spirit to usher in World War III. That's going to usher in the return of the Messiah. And we keep in watch of the prophecies coming to pass. Verse 2. And the Lord Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. So you need to be able to read the word, be able to read the words. The Most High say, speak plain unto the people. If you speak in all eloquent and trying to use these Edomite, quote unquote, big words, people are going to be lost and you being all complicated like Esau is. He's complicated like a female, right? And so you write it plain so that he that read, because it's high time to awake out of sleep and out of slumber. So when you awake out of sleep, you need to hurry up and read it. It's an emergency to hurry up and understand what's happening so you can quickly go where you need to go to hide in the dwelling place of the strong tower of Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushua. In verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. Oh, Salaki, I have a precept for verse 2. We'll go. Oh, no, that's okay. I'm tripping. Okay, Salaki. Verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. And that vision means the prophecy is for an appointed time, is for the end. But at the end, it shall speak and not lie. How? Because it's being revealed in these last days. The wars and rumors of wars and the earthquakes and pestilences and everything, right? So it said, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. That word tarry means it will not remain. It will not remain basically dormant, The Most High put those prophecies in place and has it standing idly by and standing idle until it's time for it to go forth and to show and reveal and bring forth, because these prophecies usher in different events and different movements and throughout the earth to usher in the new era. In this case, the era of the kingdom of heaven for eternity. So now we'll go to verse 4. Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. So we know that this chapter is talking about Esau, Edom, the Edomites. His soul is upside down and it's twisted because he's not right in all of his dealings. But the just are the Israelites here in Babylon the Great and throughout the four corners scattered. And we live by our faith because it's all about faith in these last days. If you don't believe in the Most High, then you're not going to be justified through His Son. If you don't believe in Yahweh and Yahushua. And then you prove your faith by your works. You're not going to walk through mud and dirty up your feet and your soul, right? Hurry up. Shalakia. So, Ecclesiastes 7 and 13. Consider the work of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, for who can make that straight which he hath made crooked? So not only is Esau's spirit lifted up in pride and upside down and lifted up, it's also crooked and twisted. And the Most High made him that way. He's the wicked. He's the wicked. There's many wicked nations and wicked people, but the head of the wickedness, because in the New Testament speaks about his coming is after the working of Satan. So he's the wicked. He pushes everything wicked, the physical manifestation of Satan. So no man can change him, no matter how much people try to save him and try to make a case for him, trying to justify this devil. They won't never justify their own brother, but they'll justify their enemy. They're just good slaves that try to save a wicked man. Isaiah 29 and 16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. See, his spirit is upside down, and that's why society is upside down. It's all backwards because that's his spirit, and it's twisted. The society is a direct reflection. We're living in the society of his mind and the spirit of Esau's spirit. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? So the Edomites, this society is all they're doing, and this is his, the so-called white race's clay that they've created and molded under Satan. Jeremiah 3:13 and 23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? No, a leopard cannot change his spots. He will never change his spots. So anyone trying to, and everyone that love their oppressor, they're trying to change Esau's spots and trying to change it for him. The Most High just said, can a man change that what he made? Who can change what the Most High made crooked, straight? So everyone's trying to make the Esau straight and trying to remove his spots, but that's impossible. Let's see. Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil. So what has the so-called white man done that's good? He's so accustomed. His spirit steers left, always and continually and perpetually. He cannot do good because he's hardwired in his spirit to do evil, and that's it. Because when you don't have the commandments of the Most High, and you lean upon your own wicked, twisted, dark mind, your fleshly mind, your carnal mind, you're going to always go off every time, and that's why he's perpetually wicked. He doesn't do anything. He casts the words of the Most High behind his back, and also blaspheme proudly in the process. Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, and that wine goes into defiling men with his carnal mind philosophies of Satan. He is a proud man. There go that pride again. The proud man of the earth. O thou most proud, as the Most High calls him. He's the most proud. He's the most wicked. Neither keepeth at home. And this is Esau. He's in everybody's borders but his own. He's in everybody's borders but his own. Because everywhere you see a so-called white man, he's in an area that's not his. It's an area that he's raped, robbed, spoiled, and colonized. Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell. and is as death. So what brings hell and death? Sin, and cannot be satisfied because the grave, because he's likened to hell as the grave, and so the earth is always welcoming new, dead bodies, right? So, and it'll never end until the Most High do away with death. So, and that's why he continuously go as hard as he do, because he can't stop and he can never have enough. Like those celebrities that sell out, Satan is all that sell out to Satan. Satan is always requiring something more and more and more, sacrificing. That's why they always have people around them. That's why these celebrities and athletes have people always dying around them, because they sacrificing their family members and their children. And like Dwayne Wade, his son, he has two sons. His youngest son just came out of the club, came out as a transgender, right? Basically, name is now Zaya. Name is Zaya, and so he didn't sacrifice the life, but sacrificed his gender, which basically is sacrificing his life as well. But he just sacrificed the gender of his son to appease, to please and appease, Satan, so they can have more success. People are filthy. And is as death and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations. Because America is what? The great melting pot of what? All nations. Babylon the Great. Because Babylon means confusion and great confusion. This is even more than in the old Babylon. And heapeth unto him all people. So I first heard that phrase when I was in high school. Like, this is a melting pot. They were bragging about it. Because, it's so diverse, and like it's such a great thing. Everybody getting bugged out, getting influenced by other people, and it's this confusion, trying to blend all nations together to be one. These high schools and schools are basically Babylon too, a mini version of that, and these colleges. It's a micro reflection of the macro, the forest of this country. So we'll go to because Esau, he's always in everybody's borders, and he thinking that he can just be sinful and wicked and succeed and win all his life for eternity. So Psalms 49:11, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. So all of their people think that they're going to, especially a couple decades ago, even when I was young, and it seemed like it was like this place was so strong that it was going to always be in power, that no one could take it down. So if an Israelite slave in Babylon thinks that, how much more the people that are in power, right? They thought that they'll never be taken down, but they can clearly see now that they're going down. As lightning, as the Messiah said, he's seen Satan falling from heaven as lightning, so he's falling fast. And their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. So they call the nations, they call these different lands that they overcome and take over after their own names. They think they're going to live forever. They're not in their own border. They're taking over all the other borders of all heathen nations, and then they call these lands after their own names. Africa was named after Africanus, Leo Scipio Africanus, a so-called white man Edomite. And then his brother, Asiaticus, they named that Asia. And then now the Western Hemisphere over here is what? America, after Amerigo Vespucci. Amerigo is the masculine version of America, and America is the feminine version of Amerigo. So now going to Revelation 17:1. And there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. And that's Babylon the Great, America. And those waters are different, all the nations that they've conquered through the United Nations, that they conquered them and then formed a league with them to oppress their enemies as well. But their chief enemy are the Israelites, and they are united together to keep the Israelites down, so-called Blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians. Verse 15, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So that's the United Nations that Esau is ruling over. And if anyone thinks that they're not ruling over, they're grossly undereducated. And they also, because what happened when 9/11 hit, George W. Bush, he was going to go ahead and he told the UN that he was going to go and run in on Afghanistan or Iraq, one of those two. And the United Nations told them no, they can't just do that. That's out of order of their policies that they have, right? And then Esau said, basically, George Bush said, to hell with all that. He said, if y'all not with me, you're against me. So threatening them, so letting you know that he rules over them, and he'll do whatever he wants when he wants. And anyone that try to stop him from being disorderly, then he'll call them the problem and call them the enemy and threaten them, and that lets them know that they will be attacked if they don't sit back and let him do whatever he wants. Isaiah 13 and 19. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees is excellency. So Babylon the great, America. How is it the glory of kingdoms? Because all nations are in America. And all the wicked philosophies and heathen doctrines of these heathen is all you can find it. Just go outside. You'll find it. You'll come across it everywhere. Yeah. So all of the wicked ancient kingdoms of the earth, of the heathen, is all rooted in Babylon the Great. That's how it's the glory of kingdoms. The beauty of the Chaldees is excellency. And the Chaldeans were the authors of the sorcery and witchcraft of the ancient Babylonian empire, and they have that through there today. It's through the Hollywood, because Hollywood is the teachers of society. Because when you watch a movie and how they do it in the movie, how family, households, and relationships and marriages and adultery and all that happens in the movies and in television and a TV series, is exactly how everyone lives their life when you go outside. Is real life, quote unquote, imitating the art of sorcery that Esau has created through the Hollywood and through social media and all of that, and the media. The beauty of the Chaldees' is excellency shall be as when Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. So this lets you know that this is a future Babylon, because Babylon today, ancient Babylon today, the landmass is modern day Iraq. So we know Iraq is inhabited, right? So we know what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah, fire and brimstone, and nobody dwells in Sodom and Gomorrah. And then so if ancient Babylon got overthrown like that, right? Then we would know it. It would be like Sodom right now, but it's Iraq. So this is a different Babylon. This is America, Babylon the Great. Now going into Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with the thick clay. So all these people gonna take up a parable, and they're all coming up against Esau, Edom. And Esau, the Edomites, think that they're going to last forever, but everyone is secretly making moves against Esau, and he's laying, and everyone sees and knows that his end is coming with that thick clay. All that debt that they're drowned underneath, and everyone's starting to hate Esau and realizing who the devil is that the Bible speaks of, because the prophets have been speaking it for, since around 1969, when the Most High awakened us back to the truth. And now everyone's starting to see and realize who the problem is. Verse 7. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee? So they've been down because Esau's been ruling over them, and now they're starting to see, and they've been getting together their nuclear weapons as well. and they're rising up suddenly. They starting that spirit of rising up is on them now, because they're doing away with the U.S. dollar as the world currency. Russia, China, and different allies, all of its allies. They're slowly but surely, and even Saudi Arabia, I believe, are making deals, economic deals with Russia and China, and they're all right. That's how they're rising up, monetarily, financially, and then economically, and then also militarily, right? Coming soon. And awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them. So that word booties goes into being, they're going to be spoiled and destroyed. So we'll go to Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, the 10 horns, the original 10 nations that signed that Treaty of Rome, the European Union and NATO. That's the original 10 horns, and that's that fourth beast that was reborn. It was called the Treaty of Rome, and now we know it today as the European Union and NATO, and they're all linked up with the whore. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, because the beast is the Roman Empire, and those 10 horns on top of that fourth beast is them coming back and using the Roman Empire as their foundation, as the European Union or EU or the EU and NATO. These shall hate the whore. So America's allies, that whore is America, and they're beginning now to hate the whore, and they're transitioning to want to make deals and do deals with Russia and China. These shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And what's that fire? Thermonuclear fire. Obadiah 1 and 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. And that's the EU and NATO, the European Union, and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread, that's like slang, they how they eating bread together. They breaking bread by the economic union, the economic unison, or I can't think of the word right now, but they're together economically, and they're making money off of the Israelites, licking the wounds of the Israelites. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee, because they're leaving and they're beginning to hate the whore, and they're linking up with Russia. They're going to link up with Russia, and that's that wound they laid it. And they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. These are the children of base men. These are fools, because they are blaspheming the Most High, Yahweh, the Holy Spirit, and destroying the apple of his eye, the Israelites. Let's see. I'm going back to Habakkuk, chapter 2, and verse 8. Because thou hast spoiled many nations. And we know that's what Esau does. He spoils, destroys. He's the destroyer of the earth. All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. So the people that remains after being destroyed and they bounce back, all these heathen nations going to bounce back, and they're going to spoil them in return. And that's that what a man sow, that's what he shall also reap. Because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, because he's the violent man. There's a movie called The History of Violence. It's a real good one. It came out back in the day, about 2005. Been wanting to rent that again, or buy it actually. Have it. It's called, I think it's called A History of Violence. It's a real good movie. But that's Esau. That's his history, violence. And for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. So he's going to be destroyed, because that's all he's done, has been a destroyer, the hammer of the earth. And it's all the Most High allowance of the Edomites, because the Most High that was Esau's blessing in the beginning. By thy sword thou shalt live. And the Most High have him in a trick bag, because what did the Messiah Yahweh say? He that live with the sword will die by the sword. And he that spoiled many nations will be spoiled by those same nations that survive and regroup and rebuild and come back and come together and destroy their bully of the earth. Let's see. From there we'll get Ezekiel 35. Where this at? Ezekiel 35 and verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. See, Esau, he went too far in our destruction, and he just will never let up, and he's just waxing worse and worse and more evil and more diabolical in what he's doing, because he's layering on not just physical destruction, but economic, and then destroying us spiritually, made us just complete degenerates, and continuously destroying us. And his perpetual hatred he has, meaning perpetual, meaning for eternal, never ending, because it's never ending hatred against the Israelites and destruction of us. So that perpetual hatred is going to make him always perpetually destroy us by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, and our iniquity had an end. And he'll never stop, because what death can never have enough, right? Verse 6. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord Yahweh, the Most High Power, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, I will prepare thee unto blood. So the Most High has his judgment awaiting, and it's going to be very brutal and just. And blood shall pursue thee. So Esau chasing after blood to shed it, right? So blood's going to pursue him, and he's going to have his blood shed the same way. Sith thou hast not hated blood, meaning since you haven't hated blood, he loves shedding blood, right? Even blood shall pursue thee. So there you have it. It's very easy to understand. Job chapter 20 and verse 22. In the fullness of his sufficiency, so that's that new world order coming, where everybody across the entire earth is going to be locked into that new world currency. You thinking he's going to be? He's going to complete that whole agenda. He shall be in straits. So in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. He's going to be destroyed. He's going to, because he has a bounds that he cannot pass, and that's going into that strait. He has a set amount of time, and that's that he will be let loose a little season. So he's about to hit those straits, hit that border that he can never pass. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. And so and that word go into that word wicked goes into here: laborer, sufferer, wretched one, laborer, workman, toiling. So we're suffering. The Israelites are suffering. So toiling. So this wicked goes into the Israelites. Basically the 2/3 of the Israelites, because Judah is going to be a terror in his nation. The 2/3 are going to be going crazy in Babylon and the apocalyptic times. And all these Edomites has been proud and arrogant against those same 2/3 Israelites. They're going to be a terror upon upon Esau, Edom, and the heathen. And you see all these cities, Judah destroyed the 2/3. They're going to be let loose, because the prophecy was in Genesis 49. What Judah? Let's go ahead and get it real quick. Genesis 49, because this is here in Genesis 49. Jacob, Israel. His name became Israel. The Most High changed his name to Israel, and so this is the prophecy on his deathbed. The prophecies of his 12 children, which are the fathers of the 12 tribes, right? And this is the prophecy of Judah. So in Genesis 49 and verse 8, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. So shall go into a future tense in the last days, because Judah is the top tribe, and they're the most hated right now in our destruction. But Judah will be praised at the last end, when everything comes back to righteousness under Yahweh Shah. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. See, in the last days, so-called African Americans, we're right in the heart of Esau, Edom. We're the closest ones to Esau. Like that phrase they have is, Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. The top tribe Esau has closest to him to keep him destroyed the most, because if the head rise up, of the head tribe rise up, then it's a wrap for Esau. But the 2/3 of Judah are going to be a terror, because they right here in the neck. They're right here in the heart, right next, directly next to Esau, under captivity, in captivity. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. So, that's the end. That's the prophecy of the Judites. They're going to, we're the most hated, but we're going to be the most praised, the tribe of Judah. And they're going to, so the hand of the wicked is going to come upon Esau Edom, because that's going to the laborers, those that's in captivity here. The 1/3 will not do it, but the 2/3 is going to be, they're off mentally and spiritually, so they're not going to know what's going on. They just going to, and we see it, right, how they looting all of these stores and stealing, ransacking these stores and leaving out. So they're going to be a terror in these last days. Isaiah 33:1. Woe to thee that spoilest and thou was not spoiled. So Esau, he's waxed fat, and he's still destroying and spoiling, and no one's doing anything to him. He just continuously spoiling, because he can't have enough. And that word woe means destruction, going into being destroyed. And dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. That's all he does, is deal treacherously throughout the earth. He's the deceiver, the devil the Bible speaks of. The word devil means deceiver. When thou shalt cease to spoil, when he's going to chill out, thou shalt be spoiled. And that's that wound from the other nations that they lay underneath Esau Edom, that's going to destroy him at his last end. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. So this economic betrayal of his allies going to Russia, that's them dealing treacherously with him at his last end, right? So going back to Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 9. Woe to him that go that destruction. Destruction to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house. He looks at everybody else's borders, goes into everyone else's borders on their natural resources like Africa, and take all of their resources and destroy them, looking to add it to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. And he started it. His foundation was, his chiefest evil covetousness was taking the land of the natives, the northern kingdom, so-called Indians and so-called Latinos. That he set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. So he's trying to escape the evil that's going to come, and that's going to mainly the elites, because the average so-called white man don't know what's going on. They're hearing about it now through the prophets, that they're the Edomites, but the elites know that they're the Edomites, and the elites know that so-called Black Latinos, Native Americans, are the lost 12 tribes of Israel, and they trying to stay hidden away in lofty areas, and then those doomsday bunkers as well, ultimately, to try to get away from the evil of the thermonuclear missiles. So Isaiah 14:13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh. And those stars go into the 12 stars. Revelation chapter 12, verse 1, I believe. And read on down a little bit. The woman with the crown on her head with the 12 stars goes into the Israelites. The 12 stars, the 12 tribes. So Esau has exalted himself and set his throne above the Israelites of the Most High. The children of the Most High's Israelites. I will set also upon the mount of the congregation and the sides of the north, and that north goes into North America. Verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. So that's this space station and, satellites and going to the moon and all this, that, and the third, right? So that's Esau. Isaiah 28:15. Slacky, hold up. Shoot. Isaiah 28:15. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. And that's Satan. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. So that's Esau. He's making a covenant with hell and death. That's, they're hell and death, and they gravitating towards Satan. And that's how they rule, because Satan tried to do that, tried to make a covenant with the Messiah in the wilderness, right? When he was fasting 40 days and 40 nights, and the Messiah, Yahushua, destroyed him with precept upon precept and rejected him. But Esau, he made that covenant. And so when that overflowing scourge shall pass through, that's going to also those thermonuclear missiles on a deeper level, that overflowing thermonuclear fire. It's not coming to us, he says. They made lies their refuge, and under falsehood they hid themselves. So, and their refuge is going into those thermonuclear bunkers and everything, and trying to hide and destroy and avoid that destruction when they're coming. Amos chapter 9. Slocky, man. Amos. So Amos chapter 9 and verse 2. Though they dig into hell, thence shall mine hand take them. So that digging into hell goes into what? Those doomsday bunkers. Cheyenne Mountain and what? Colorado, and tons of those all throughout America and elsewhere outside of America. They're going to try to hide those elites. Thence mine hand shall take them, and his chief hand is who? Yahushua, his right hand, his right arm. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. Then also the hunters, because the prophets and elders and teachers of the 144,000 of the elect of Israel are going to become their officials right now. Then they're going to be turned into hunters. I believe that's somewhere, Jeremiah like 16:16, I think. Fishers turned hunters. And then they're going to go into those bunkers and snatch them out of those bunkers, those elites, and put their nobles and elders, their so-called elders, in fetters of iron and yokes of iron upon them, and they're going to go right into captivity. So from there we'll go to Revelation 6:15. And the kings of the earth, that's going to Esau, Edom, and the kings of the earth, and all the heathen, that's going to be linked up with them as well, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. What is that? Those thermonuclear bunkers. So that's what that is. That's what that goes into. Those thermonuclear bunkers. And they're going to be holed up in those. That's what they've been carving out of those rocks. Those are the mountains. And so the elect with under Yahushua, they're going to go in and go get them. And maybe the angels are going to go as well. It's going to be they're going to be spoiled and go into captivity. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 10. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people. And that's the title of this video. That's how he brought shame, by just destroying and killing and rape, robbing, and murdering and enslaving. And they brought perpetual shame to Esau has brought perpetual shame to his house, from when he sold his birthright to the generations of his children doing wickedness upon the earth, the cursed nation of the earth. Because they're the only nation that doesn't have melanin in their skin, right? So it's not me saying it; it's just reality, and it's biblical. So, verse 10 again: Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. Proverbs 4 and 16. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. So Esau Edom and his think tanks and his plots and his secret councils, they can't sleep until they concoct a great, brilliant, quote unquote brilliant, a diabolical plan to make the Israelites fall and to keep all the other heathen in subjection to them. Habakkuk 2 and 11. For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. Proverbs 29 and verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So that's going to the people being wicked, the Esau Edomites. They're in rulership, so everything from the people to the animals, the plant life, the wildlife, the animal life, everything, all elements, because everything you see is elements. Even the elements are crying out. The plants are crying out, and everything, the trees, everything is crying out. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood. And how was America built? With that blood. And how does he colonize the earth? With blood. How does he have puppet leaders throughout all the earth? Through blood. And how does he have all the natural resources of these other nations and have a monopoly upon the earth with the dollar bill, the US dollar? Through blood. And establisheth a city by iniquity. So iniquity goes into sin. So we'll go to, woe unto Esau for that. That means destruction. So we'll go to Sirach chapter 10 and verse 8. Salaki. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another, and that's going to be the Israelites, because 2nd Ezra 6 and 9 says Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So it's going to be translated to us, the Israelites. Job chapter 20 and verse 15. He hath swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. See, that's going to a snake. A snake swallowed down its food whole, and that's what he done to the Israelites and his riches, our riches, and we're the gold and silver, the precious jewels of the Most High. Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, shall cast them out of his belly. So those riches that he got unjustly and unrighteously. It's going to be translated, when the Israelites are blessed with salvation and through Yahweh's return, and it's going to transition to the Israelites. Transfer of wealth, change and trade in places, like that movie with Eddie Murphy. Job 18 and 5. Yeah, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. And we know that Esau has a fake light, a false light, a pseudo light. Pseudo means false. And this is how he make people think that he has the light, because all these wicked people that come into some money from selling out say that try to speak as if they now have knowledge and wisdom, but they've been falsely miseducated by Esau. And like Jay-Z, there was a picture of him in one of those Edomite false, those Masonic lounges. I guess they get taught up. They go to classes and stuff, getting taught up in philosophies of Satan. So Isaiah 14 and 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? So now word Lucifer, people think that's talking about Satan himself. This is the man that follows the vibration of Satan. O Lucifer. Lucifer equals light bearer, shining one, morning star, Lucifer, of the king of Babylon and Satan. See, it's a distinction, it's a difference between the two. The king of Babylon and Satan. So the king of Babylon is Babylon the Great today is the so-called white man headed by the puppet, which is the dead puppet up there, right? President Biden and Satan. And Satan runs the light bearers. Lucifer, another name is the Illuminati, which means the light bearers, basically. So, and the king of Babylon is the puppet for the light bearer, the Illuminati, that's under Satan. Verse 12 again. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? So they're cut down to the ground, and this talking about the Edomites. Isaiah 47 and verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust. That's that cut down to the ground. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. So the daughter of Babylon are the Edomites, Babylon the Great, America. Sit on the ground. There is no throne. O daughter of the Chaldeans, because that's their Hollywood witchcraft of the little hats. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. See, because everyone thought that America was something, the American dream, which is actually a nightmare. Jeremiah 22 and 13. Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness. And we just read that in Habakkuk chapter 12, 2 and verse 12, right? Woe to him that buildeth a town by blood and iniquity. Woe, that's destruction. Destruction unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness and his chambers by wrong. So you have a house and you build your house and you have every room in your house, you know, and everything he has, he built by deceit and wickedness. That useth his neighbor's service without wages. And that's the Edomites using, he's built all of his houses, and chiefly the chief house here is what? The White House. And all the rooms, the slaves built that. And so that's how he built everything off of our backs. His foundation was there, and then from there he put his tentacles throughout the entire four corners of the earth. That useth his neighbor's service without wages, and we weren't paid because that's slavery. You don't pay a slave when you force them, right? And giveth him not his work, and giveth him not for his work. All right. So with that being said, hope this video was edifying. Esau, he's going down. He's brought perpetual reproach and perpetual shame to his house, and he's about to go down soon, according to the prophecies we're seeing coming to pass. So with that being said, hope this video was edifying. The water to Rachak Wadash for another video. Bahasham Yahushai. To the next video I say, Shalom.